Hey everyone, back this month with the 6th episode of Quicken the Silence. Today I'll be looking at the multi-classiness of Celestial Patron Warlocks. Should I be rating these archetypes out of 10? Maybe I'll just make a tier video. A Warlock who has struck a deal with a divinely sourced entity such as an angel or a unicorn might find themselves in the eccentric, bubbly Warlock phase, or perhaps the I have peered upon a wheel with eyes and now I avoid its wrath phase. Or maybe somewhere in between. Either way, you can gain access to healing spells as well as a bonus action heal. The catch here is that our healing light ability, the bonus action heal that I mentioned, performs a little better the more levels you have in Warlock. Archetypes with scaling abilities might make someone think, wouldn't that just make it so much easier to just stick to one class? Depending on what you're going for, sure. If you want to be just a Warlock with some healing, it's a decent option. What's worth noting, however, is that healing-related spells have a cutoff of 5th level, so we can get greater restoration and such, but we won't be reincarnating people or throwing out massive high-level miracles like a cleric would. That being said, getting to 5th level is a minimal requirement for a solid healing focus. After that, we have a few decisions to make. How exactly do we complement a healing Warlock? My first example is a Divine Soul Sorcerer. Doubling up on Divine Influence is quite the coincidence. So to take Divine Soul Sorcerer as your multiclass is quite the display of divinity, having possibly never opened a single mainstream religious text within the realms. At level 6 Sorcerer, you can reroll any number of dice from any healing spells used in your abilities within 5 feet of you, potentially raising the possibility of survival in tough situations. You can use meta magic to twin spell your single target healing spells and do double the healing in no time flat, as a good example. Or you could cast Greater Restoration, using a Quicken spell if suddenly an ally needs it on your turn. I would probably start as the Warlock until I reach level 5, and just go Sorcerer for the rest of the process. You have spell slots you can recover from a short rest, and as long as your DM doesn't hate coffee locks, or in other words, a basic Warlock Sorcerer multiclass, you'll have some recovered magic on a short rest you can convert to sorcery points. From there you can make bigger spell slots, and that makes me really happy. This build can do a sharp amount of damage, give off some solid healing, and sling a lot of spells. It's good to be made of magic. Next on the block we have what you were probably going to guess next. Cleric. We made a deal with an angel, now we can prove our devotion to its cause. Maybe. It's your story after all. We have 2 classes that get an archetype of level 1, so it gets real detailed real quick. The best details are, of course, healing spells. Choosing the life domain bolsters our healing and gives us constant access to solid healing spells. Having spell slots recovered in a short rest is a gift from the gods, and though it might not be more than 2, it's still better to have some magic left than none when you're in the midst of chaos. What spells you lose from not committing to Life Cleric might be missed, but a little consistency, and a solid Eldritch Blast, can make all the difference when damage needs dealt. You could really start as one class or the other in this case. If you need healing, start with the Life Cleric. If you could benefit from a little healing or someone else having a restoration spell along the way, then you can get the first 4 levels of Warlock out of the way while we climb 16 levels into Cleric. Assuming you get that far. For my last example, we'll talk about the Bard. However, when it comes to the college you would choose, there are some good options depending on how you want to help your team. Most importantly, a bonus action heal or inspire gives us options when we need our action for vastly different things. But if you want to help fortify these defenses in your front lines, Valor is good for the purpose. College of Blades keeps you close to said frontliners so you can heal them while dealing some martial damage yourself. Lore is good for mocking your enemies and allowing your friends to avoid attacks or take less damage. Since Bard is such a well-crafted class for the role of support, Celestial Pact Warlock can fit into any of these pretty well. For now, we'll have to personally settle for Eloquence. You can be an effective face of the party, with persuasion and deception being reliable even if you roll lower than a 10. For such roles an Eloquence Bard could make are treated as such. You can make your party's spells more likely to take effect against your enemies and speak to those who do not speak your languages. With an Eloquence Bard in the mix, we have a lot of ways to keep a desired conversation going, and the less comfortable conversations as light as at least a 10 on persuasion rolls can get us. So those have been some reasonable perspectives on how a good Celestial Patron Warlock multiclass could work. Personally, I do like this Warlock subclass a lot. If your healer needs a little help, heck, if you even want this character to be your party's healer, you'll find a pretty decent toolkit full of resilience and utility. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and in the meantime, if the sky is gray and the breeze is gentle, the quiet palace shall be nearby.